Just finished watching The Beanie Bubble on Apple TV. Really good. I recommend it. Very nostalgic. Reminder of that time when people were going wild over Beanie Babies. By the time I had my daughter, the Beanie Baby market had totally collapsed, and I was buying them from other parents for like $1 each. Beanie Babies was a really good example of the economics of the aftermarket frenzy. There was one employee in the movie, Maya, who spoke about the aftermarket and how it benefited them. Of course, she was not listened to and the market collapsed. This has happened to many other things. When my daughter was born in 2014, really popular at the time was these Tula baby carriers, and they would put out limited edition designs and they drop those and everyone would buy them up and sell them for many times retail. So this is what was happening to the Beanie Babies. And when a company can't meet the demand with their supply, it creates scarcity, right? And that makes people buy up the product when it's available, and then people, because they couldn't get it, pay way more for it after. And that happened with Beanie Babies. It happened with these Tulip carriers. It happened with, happens with sneakers. It happened with Pokemon and Pogs. And there's been so many things that this has happened for. And what happens is the companies don't like it, right? Because they're seeing that more money is being made by the people who are buying their products for a lower price from them, and then they are going and selling them, and they're making more profit than the original company is. And you see that in the movie where the creator of Beanie Babies was really annoyed by that. What these companies fail to realize is it is that scarcity. It is that feeling that if I buy the product, I'll be able to sell it for more. That's what makes people want to buy it, because they think of it as an investment. They're not buying it because they like it. They're buying it because they think they can make money off of it. So as soon as these companies switch gears and try to capture the aftermarket profits by producing way more, they do that, and it works for a bit where people will still buy them all, but then eventually the supply matches the demand or even gets higher. And yeah, they might still sell some, but there's no longer that aftermarket increase in price. And they may think that that's a success because, hey, like no one else is profiting off of our product, but it actually kills their business, because the reason that they were so sought after was because of that aftermarket that they have just killed, because they wanted all of the profits for themselves, when the more long-term sustainable thing would be to continue doing it on the scarcity model. But greed gets in the way every single time. And I remember when I was watching these baby carriers, and like my daughter wouldn't go in the baby carrier. I never had one, but I was in these Tula buy and sell groups where I was watching these baby carriers be sold for thousands of dollars. And I remember thinking like, oh, this is so going to collapse. And what ended up happening was the owner of that company actually sold to a different company. I think it was Ergo Carriers or something. And immediately, once you get into that bigger scale and you can start mass producing these things, it tanked. That's what happens when supply meets the demand and the aftermarket gets killed, because it's no longer sought after. So it's just a really interesting economic trend. Anytime there's something that has a value that is more than what it's actually worth, it's just the frenzy that makes it worth that. And as soon as that company decides to put the foot on the gas and try to recapture those profits, your investment's gone. It was really fun watching in that movie too, that billionaire losing his mind when strong women spoke up for themselves. I really enjoyed that. Anyway, eat the rich.